Hey everyone, it's May and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Nightwish's third album, Wishmaster. And I'm also going to be doing the Over the Hills and Far Away EP at the end because it's not really long enough to do a whole video on, so I just thought I'd tack it onto this one because it came right after. So yeah, I have this album and I will be using the sleeve to read the lyrics because, as we know, Google is not always correct. You can see the nice scratch there too. Lovely. This album was released in 2000. There are 11 tracks and there's 3 bonus tracks at the end. This album was a lot easier for them than Oceanborn was. As always, all my comments from Thomas or, background and commentary is going to come from either the Nightwish book or the End of Innocence documentary. He said that after Oceanborn, he felt like he could never write another song. He felt completely drained and that process was super hard for everyone. They weren't really that experienced on their instruments, so it was really hard when I had all this ambitious music that they were trying to do. I think it still came out good, but everyone was a lot more comfortable at this point and had a lot more fun doing this album. Thomas considers this as an improvement on Oceanborn, but not a huge leap forward, and I agree. The songs are still very similar to Oceanborn. I think Century Child is when we see a much bigger shift, but I do think that this is a better album than Oceanborn. It's more cohesive, and I think I just like the songs better, personally, but yeah, let's get into it. I'm going to try, keyword is try, to make this video a little bit more concise and not go through every single line of a lyric and just kind of pull out the most important parts. We're gonna see. Another thing is that Thomas said this album is the least personal. He might have even said that in here. Let's just read the little intro from Thomas, shall we? This album includes the mother of all Nightwish songs, Dead Boy's Poem. We're gonna unpack that. A number which took on a life of its own, becoming a kind of symbol for Nightwish's identity as a band. Despite this, however, Wishmaster is the most distant and least personal album in the Nightwish catalog. You could say that it continues the fantasy trip started on Oceanborn, ranging from the real-life tragedy of the Kinslayer through to the lover's tale of Come Cover Me and on to the massive Disney feast of Phantasmic. So we start with She Is My Sin. This is the graphic that they put in here. Nice. I personally think it's about Tarja. I think a lot of these songs are oh, I'm gonna make this really sexy fairy tale, but it's really just an elaborate way of saying that he wanted to be with Tarja. But again, I'm gonna get into that in another video later. But if you just take the lyrics for, face value, it just seems like it's about some kind of forbidden love, a sin for him, desire within, a burning veil for the bride too dear for him. So it's someone wants to be with someone that they can't be with. Someone on Song Meanings, I did kind of read through people's interpretations, said that it was could be about a nun and a priest, and I was that is a really interesting interpretation because the burning veil, it was the nun's veil. That was really interesting. I don't know, and I do envy the sinners, people who don't have to adhere to these rules, just regular people. That could be a way of interpreting it as well. But yeah, that's that one. The Kinslayer is about the Columbine High School massacre. It was a school shooting and it was an attempted bombing in 1999. I was kind of reading up on this. It was 2 boys and they had made bombs as well, but the bombs didn't end up detonating, or one of them partially detonated, so it actually could have been a lot worse, but they killed 12 students and 1 teacher. And so I guess this really had an impact on Thomas because he wrote this whole song about it. And to be honest, I had never really thought that much about what it was about. I knew vaguely that it was about this, but I can never understand what Tarja is saying. So I was just yeah, blah, blah, blah. When I was listening to it, the spoken parts are quotes from the boys. That's creepy. It is quotes from the killers and their schoolmates. The part that says, "Time to die, poor mates, you made me what I am." He put that in the song. So I think it's supposed to evoke an emotional response out of a listener in that way. I am not sure why religion is brought up in it, because it wasn't they were doing this because of religion. When it says, I'll just read lyrics for this one, "For whom the gun tolls, for whom the prey weeps, bow before a war, call it religion." So I guess he might be saying okay, they were considering this their religion, but they weren't doing it for religious reasons. The speculation was that one of them was a psychopath and one of them was depressed, and it was he was going along with the other one because they both also killed themselves, and he just wanted to use it as a means to kill himself, but the main guy is actually a psychopath planning all of this, which makes sense because that takes a lot to plan and actually execute something like this. Like, there's gotta be something going on. But it wasn't for religious reasons that I know of. Some wounds never heal, some tears never will. To me, that is the survivors, the impact it's gonna have on the survivors and the families of the people who died. Also the families of the boys who, you know, did this. They're never really gonna recover. Dry for the unkind, cry for mankind. Even the dead cry, their only comfort. Kill your friend, I don't care. Orchid kids, blinded stare. Need to understand, no need to forgive. Taking this from what someone said on Song Meanings, that made a lot of sense. Need to understand, no need to forgive. So we don't need to forgive them for doing this, but we need to understand why something like this happens. Because if we just say, oh, thoughts and prayers, this was really hard, we're never gonna get anywhere. We have to actually look at the root cause. Like, what led up to this? Was it bullying? Like, what were the signs? How could this have been stopped? And get to the root of the cause to like keep it from happening again. The rest of, for like the main part of the next part of the song, it's just quotes. Facing this unbearable fear like meeting an old friend, time to die poor mates, you made me what I am. In this world of a million religions, everyone prays the same way. Your praying is in vain, it'll all be over soon. Father help me, save me a place by your side. There is no God, our creed is but for ourselves, not a hero. Unless you die, our species eat the wounded ones. Drunk with the blood of your victims, I do feel your pity wanting pain, lust for fame a deadly game. Run away with your impeccable kin, good wombs hath borne bad sons. One of them said that. I remember reading about that too. But that is just so haunting. Like, and then he chose to put this in the song. So the part that says time to die poor mates, you made me what I am, kind of makes me think there was some bullying going on too. Not that in any way excuses this, but, and then I guess they did bring up religion. So that's interesting. Like when they say in this world of a million religions, everyone prays the same way. Because I mean, I guess people were praying. And then the end, that is his lyrics again, says, cursing God, why? Falling for every lie. Survivor's guilt in us forevermore. 15 candles, redeemers of this world. Dwell in hypocrisy, how are we supposed to know? And how are we supposed to know is italicized, like the quoted lyric. So I think that might be another quote. But the how are we supposed to know kind of relates back to the needing to understand. Like, how are we supposed to know this was going to happen? Like, we didn't, but we can try to work on it and do better in the future. I also should mention that I read up on the little blog, the archive, where Thomas talked about each of these songs. So for this one, he talked about kind of how it went down, and he said this was carefully planned for over a year, and these guys were determined to kill also themselves afterward. They had no real motive. They made a videotape in the morning just before the massacre where they said, we are going to kill you all. You've been giving us shit for years. We want to say our sorry for our parents. There's nothing you could have done. This is something we must do. We're sorry. We don't like life very much. So I think there was bullying. That kind of points to it too. And Thomas says, this event is something that I will never understand. If something as horrible as this can happen in the world, there's no sense, no truth to cling to anymore. I find there's a great deal of symbolism hidden in this happening. The dialogue in the middle of the song quotes the actual phrases between the killers and their schoolmates during the shooting, according to those who survived. Yeah, so that's pretty heavy. Moving on to Come Cover Me. Much lighter. This is one of my favorite ones. It's just a bop. For this one, he says, a rather simple love song. The feeling of waiting is often more fulfilling than the happening itself, which you can kind of see in the chorus, like, come cover me with you for the thrill. It seems to be about two lovers. On Song Meanings, people were kind of debating, like, are they supposed to be older? Like when it says come what a widow's eye and November dressed in May on your face, it makes them feel younger to be in love like this, and like young love must live twice only for us. Like maybe they were together earlier and now they're together later in life as well. Yeah, could be a number of things. I personally think it's just another way of dressing up as Love Victoria again, but like, it's okay. Anyway, Wanderlust. I love this one as well. This is a super fun jam. This is really fun, upbeat, and the beat is kind of reminiscent of like their earlier songs like Elven Path and some of the songs on Oceanborn. In the Nightwish book, it was calling it a double bass drum beat, I think. It's kind of that driving beat like that goes in like the background of like traditional like metal, symphonic metal songs, I guess. And you can hear it in this, in Crownless, and I want to say a little bit in Phantasmic, but this and Crownless are kind of the main ones where you still hear that, but otherwise they kind of, you know, branched out. It's basically just talking about fantasies of, you know, I want to do this, this, and this, and travel, and have all of these experiences, and I really liked what Thomas said about this one as well. It's a cliche that life is one big journey, but that's the way it is. And there's so much much to discover and experience on this planet. I couldn't bear the thought that I would have to live my life with the biggest experience being a 1-week trip to the Canary Islands after working in an office for a year straight. Routine kills everything. I wish people would find the wonder within. And I personally relate to this song because I do have a deep desire to travel, which, as you can imagine, going kind of crazy with COVID because I can't do anything, but one of my dreams is to travel a lot, and I'm hoping to teach English abroad, if you didn't know that about me. Next we have Two for Tragedy, which is a ballad, and it used to be one of my favorite of their songs. It's been demoted a little bit, but I still really do love it. I always pictured a mother holding her son that had just got wounded in battle, and people on song meanings had a lot of different interpretations. People had different biblical ideas of what it might be. I had never thought of any of that. Again, you can always read on song meanings. You just look up the song it is on that website and you can find what people have said. I really enjoy reading other people's interpretations. But yeah, for me, I've always seen it as like a mother's son is like fallen in battle and she's holding him as he dies. But I don't know, it says no healing hand for your disease. So I'm wondering if actually he was sick and he's dying. Other people thought it might be an abortion or a miscarriage. I think that he has lived and he's dying, but that is another possible interpretation. It says, slumber in peace, cease the pain, life's just in vain for us to gain nothing but all the same, kind of saying like we're all gonna die in the end. Like really anything you do in life doesn't matter because in the end you die and so does everyone else. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about with that. I kind of like get the sense that she's relieved that he won't have to suffer anymore because, you know, when it says like a mother's love is sacrifice, parents are always like sacrificing something for their kid, like, you know, taking all that time to take care of them and also carrying the burden of like loving them so much that they would be like destroyed if something happened to them, which is what's happening here. Like she's gonna shoulder the burden of his death and be really sad about it while he just gets to rest in peace. I of course think there's like a little bit of Taria in here, like in the last line when it says beneath the candle bed 2 souls with everything yet to be said. I always have thought that's about her. I'm like literally putting everything in this video. I swear I'm gonna make another video. I'm not gonna talk about it right now. I can save it. The beat drop in this song is perfect. I love it so much. It is chef's kiss. Alright, and next we have Wishmaster. I don't have too much to say about this one because it is based off of Lord of the Rings and Dragonlance, which I am not familiar with, but it is a banger. It's one of their bigger hits, I think. It's super catchy, will get stuck in your head, and if you have not seen the Misheard Lyrics video on YouTube, you're missing out. People have made like a Misheard Lyric video for like every single Nightwish song. There's one for the Kinslayer, there's one for Amaranth, there's like a bunch. This is my favorite. It's hilarious, and I think I actually know the Misheard Lyrics. Like I could sing the song with the Misheard Lyrics more than I could the song with the actual lyrics. Like I can't listen to a song without thinking of the Misheard Lyrics now. What Twoma says about this one is, so this is my personal tribute to fantasy, especially the closest to me, Tolkien and Dragonlance. These worlds have become a sort of inverted reality for me where the story of the Kinslayer can't become reality. Moreover, I don't believe in this thing called destiny. We are the masters of our own wishes, beliefs, and dreams. Whatever you desire enough, it can happen. Destiny is an excuse for those who don't have the strength to fulfill their wishes. Everything is possible, even the impossible. This is really interesting that he said that. I kind of like making that comparison. Like, you know, when you love something so much, like a book or a TV show, like when you get entrenched in like a fantasy world like that and you love it so much it becomes kind of a reality for you, even though it's just escapism. But like on the flip side of that, it's easier to think of that than to like reconcile what happened in that high school as reality. And yeah, so it looks like he's also kind of talking about that we're in control of our lives, which is also kind of a theme in Taria's songs, so I kind of have the same philosophy on that. Interesting. Just thought I'd point that out. Next we have Bear Grace Misery. This is one of their more like pop sounding songs, I guess. Like it has like a very catchy chorus. I had really never thought twice about the lyrics, but I cannot unhear it now. On song meanings, people have said that this could be about child molestation, and now I really can't unsee that. I'll just read the lyrics. Sweet boy, come in, I am the dark side of you, die for my sins like the one once did. Send him in bed for your unashamed appetite, a figurant, this dance will hurt like hell. This is disturbing, seriously. Oh, Bear Grace Misery, just a child without a fairy tale am I, dark but so lovely, a little match girl freezing in the snow. Love lying, enticing, Bear Grace Misery, crowning the moment, Bear Grace Misery, this is what I am, Bear Grace for the end of days. Romantic scent, spoiled priest lies warm for you. There's no such priest that can pray me to heaven. When done with me, forget if you think I feel ashamed. A wild thing, never felt sorry for anything. Love lying, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I cannot unsee that. What was going through his head? I mean, I'd like to know what was going through his head when he wrote a lot of things, like Nymphomaniac Fantasia. Like, I genuinely want to know. What does he say about it? The dark side of the desire for love too often leads to tragedy. Well, that's specific. Maybe it's like a metaphor for Thomas's loss of innocence in general. And this narrator is like the world of success, because he does talk about in the documentary how he can see, like, in their music and just like in the overall vibe, that Oceanborn was the end of their innocence. Like, that was when they were still doing it for fun, when they were writing and producing that album, but then once they were on to Wishmaster, they already had that success that they were building off of, and they knew it was something bigger, and so they would never get that innocence back. Maybe it's a metaphor for that. I like that story better. I don't know about this one. Maybe it's just another case of him wanting to hear Taria sing some sexy lyrics. I have no idea. Next we have Crownless. Again, I never really thought much about the lyrics here. In the little blog, he says, arrogant, egoistic people make me sick. Those people who have been given a crown but can't carry it properly, nothing is everlasting, and the fall can be very sudden. I think we all should keep in mind and be proud of the things we have achieved in a positive way. So it's like people who have crowns or power who don't deserve it, like it was just given to them. I think the main thing it talks about in the lyrics is like it can all be taken away so easily. Like when it says, one fleeting moment and it is all gone, crownless again will I fall. Yeah, I don't really understand all the lines or what they mean necessarily, but that does seem to be kind of the overall theme. There is a reference to the Riddler when it says the Riddler revealing the deep hidden things, like on Oceanborn when it talked about that, so interesting. Honestly, a boat on the river confessing the sins, that could be a reference back to the Pharaoh sails to Orion too. But I don't really know what it means. Like, I can't take it further than that. I don't know. But yeah, like the verses start with crownless again shall be the queen, crownless again shall be the king. They could lose all this power that they got for no reason. And so like he's saying we should focus on accomplishments that we've actually earned, because power can always be taken away. Next we have Deep Silent Complete, which he says is about the ocean. We know that he always likes talking about the ocean in songs. I'll read the lyrics here. In your creation, heaven did decree that in your arms sweet death should dwell. Deep silent complete, black velvet sea, the sirens are calling for me. Save my soul thinking this song's a lie. Sand on the shore is so dry. Deep silent complete, black velvet sea, brave day sinking in endless night. The age will say this poet lies, heaven never touched earthly face. The age will say this night was ours, blessed with the deep, the silent, the complete. I kind of get the sense that it's like the ocean's where everything started and ended. I don't know. It's like yearning for not necessarily death, but just like not existing anymore, like not having problems. Like that's kind of how he thinks of the ocean maybe, but I don't really understand all of it. For some reason, like I don't know if this is completely off base, but just like whenever I've listened to the song, I always think of the part when it says the age will say this night was ours. Like I think of them, like I think of Nightwish, like that's saying like all those, you know, times they had together, all their concerts, this night was ours. Like that's what I think of. I don't know if that is correct or if anyone agrees, but I don't know. I don't really get this one in general, but next we have Dead Boy's poem. Okay, there is so much to unpack with Dead Boy's poem. And in my opinion, it's the best song on the album. A lot of other people agree. Some people think it's like their best song ever. Oh my god, it's so perfect. It follows that, you know, longer song format that they have where there's different distinct sections. It starts out very slow and then it picks up later. Read the Thomas commentary. This is the most personal song I've ever written, my testimony for the whole world. With this song, I want to apologize to everyone who deserves my apology. It also makes an I don't care statement to them who deserve it. The song is also about what Nightwish means and has meant to me. It's all, without it I'm dead. I've created it and it has created me. When I pass away, the song's lyrics are of what I wish to be remembered, an ocean soul. I also think it's worth noting that this does come right after Deep Silent Complete, which kind of has, you know, a death vibe to it, like when it says the age will say this poet lies, like it's kind of talking about like how he's gonna be remembered is how I took that. And the first line of Dead Boy's poem, besides, you know, the line that starts it, I think For some reason it's not on the sleeve, but it does start with a line, spoken by the boy. I live no more to shame nor me nor you. I'm sorry. Why isn't that on here? What the heck? Anyway, but the first line that Tarja sings is born from silence, silence full of it. That's why I kind of think that Deep Silent Complete is like we were born from the ocean and will return to it in like a sense of, I think the ocean to him usually represents innocence, like that's how we were born and that's where we'll go when we die, and so like it's deep, silent, complete. So that's why he's saying born from silence, I think. A Perfect Concert, My Best Friend, I think that's maybe just him talking to his bandmates, because like this is supposed to be like what he would say to the people he loved if he were gonna die tomorrow. So like kind of just, you know, encapsulating his good times with his bandmates, I think. So much to live for, so much to die for, if only my heart had a home. Sing what you can't say, forget what you can't play. So essentially that's what he's doing with the song. He's putting into poetry and music what he can't say out loud to people. Hasten to drown into beautiful eyes. I think that's about Tarja. Walk within my poetry, this dying music, my love letter to nobody. Except I don't know why he says my love letter to nobody. It's a love letter to a lot of people. Why would he say that? Unless that's supposed to relate back to if only my heart had a home, like specifically romantic love. I don't know. And then the chorus is never sigh for better world that's already composed, played, and told. To me, that kind of means everything's already been done before that you're gonna create, but you might as well do it anyway. He still has created Nightwish. Every thought, the music I write, everything a wish for the night. Like everything he does is for this band. Wrote for the eclipse, wrote for the virgin, died for the beauty, the one in the garden. Created a kingdom, reached for the wisdom, failed in becoming a god. And then it goes into the chorus again. I'm not sure what exactly those lines mean, unless maybe just like wrote for the eclipse, wrote for the virgin is just like referencing previous lyrics or things he wrote about. Created a kingdom could be talking about, you know, creating something with his friends, and it's also, you know, the kingdom of fans, people that really appreciate it. Reach for the wisdom, failed in becoming a god, like he couldn't be immortal and perfect? I don't know. And then after the chorus, we go into the spoken part. It's so beautiful, this whole song. If you read this line, remember not the hand that wrote it, remember only the verse. Songmakers cry, the one without tears. I think with that, he's saying, remember this. Maybe not the way I acted toward you, not the way I treated you, but remember this, because this is what I want to say to you, this is what's important. Where I've given this its strength, and it has become my only strength. Talking about Nightwish, comforting home, mother's lap, chance for immortality, where being wanted became a thrill I never knew, the sweet piano riding down my life. So I think that whole thing's talking about Nightwish. It's become everything to him. He's put everything into it. It has become home, and it's become that comfort to him, and a chance for immortality is like, he knows at this point that this band is going to leave some kind of a legacy behind. It has changed people's lives. They're going to remember it, and so that's his chance of being immortal and living on. Being wanted became a thrill I never knew, maybe talking about success. Like he never had thought too much about that. He didn't start Nightwish because he wanted to be famous. He started it because he wanted to make music. So he didn't know what success would feel like or how much he would enjoy it potentially. And the sweet piano riding down my life is, you know, the music. Teach me passion, for I fear it's gone. Show me love, hold the lorn. So much more I wanted to give to the ones who love me. I'm sorry, time will tell. This bitter farewell, I live no more to shame, nor me, nor you. And you, I wish I didn't feel for you anymore. Those lines are pretty self-explanatory, and yeah, I think that's about Tarja. That is my favorite part of the song. Every single time I listen to it, it gives me chills. Where the piano like changes a little bit, and you, I wish I didn't feel for you anymore. And then the beat drops. It's perfect. And then yeah, it basically just says a lonely soul and ocean soul repeated for the rest of it, because that's how he wants to be remembered. I just need to take a second. That song is everything. It truly is. Next we have Phantasmic. This is the only skip on the album for me. I don't know if this is an unpopular opinion, but this is my least favorite, but it's fine. This is another song that kind of has those distinct different sections. It's also the longest track on the album. It's also the song that they were doing when Tarja got attacked in Mexico, and I could do a whole video ranting about that, but we'll save that for another time. I feel like I just have a negative association with it because of that, but also it's just a little bit too much. Like the slower part is fine, but like the part when it's like wish upon a star, da, 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 it's like too in your face for me. I don't know. But yeah, basically it's just a tribute to Disney. If you want to see all the specific, people have completely broken this down on song meanings, like what is a reference to what in the lyrics. I'm not like, I know general Disney stuff, but I'm not super up on everything, so that's probably the best place to go if you want like a super detailed breakdown. But yeah, that is that. And then the bonus track is Sleepwalker. This was their Eurovision song submission. Tarja was against it, and I think Empu and Yuka, or Empu and Sammy, I don't remember, two of the other members were against it because they're like, it's gonna ruin my reputation. Like, Tarja's like, it's gonna ruin my reputation as a classical singer, and the other guys were like, it's gonna ruin my reputation as a rocker. But they ended up doing it, and they won the popular vote but not the contest because of something that happened, but it actually helped them. It didn't hurt them. I really like this song. It is very different than the songs in the rest of the album. It has like a completely different vibe. I guess it's made by keyboards, like the thing at the beginning. I don't know, I think that's made by keyboards. The melody is kind of simple. I know like, they don't really like it, but I think it's catchy and I really like it. So I'm not gonna read all the lyrics, but essentially it is, I'm kind of trying to figure out if the narrator of the song is something that exists in the place between sleep and awake that is beckoning to someone, I think. But then it says Sleepwalker seducing me. So I think it might have like kind of like a multiple point of view thing going on. I don't know. There's a Phantom of the Opera reference when it says silently the senses abandon all defenses. It's almost the exact line from Music of the Night. It should be abandon their defenses and just change it to all. And people in song meetings were saying that there's kind of other references too, which I can see like Unending Masquerade like referencing back to Masquerade as well. Phantom of the Opera is one thing I do know that Thomas references. Not the Lord of the Rings, not really the Disney, but I can do the Phantom of the Opera ones. And like I said earlier, like on my Oceanborn video, like we know that he knows Phantom of the Opera because it covered it in Send Your Child, so I think it makes sense. But this is probably from that. Yeah, I would say like the main part of the song is from the Sleepwalker's point of view, I guess. And then the end says Sleepwalker seducing me, blah blah blah. So, I don't know. Interesting song. And then we will quickly go through the Over the Hills songs because the rest of them are just live version. There's only 3 new songs. Over the Hills and Far Away is their Gary Moore cover. It became a Nightwish classic. I think more people are familiar with their version than the Gary Moore version now. The lyrics tell a story, pretty self-explanatory. I love this song. It's one they still do. Tarja does it on her own now too. There's like a million different versions of it. Tarja and Floor did it together one time. End of an Era version's probably my favorite, but they even did a music video too. Yeah, I love songs that tell a story like that. Fun. And then we have 10th Man Down. Personally not a fan of this one. It seems to be from the point of view of a soldier and kind of like what the war has done to him. Doesn't seem to be personal to Thomas's life or anything, but it just seems to be kind of a point of view from someone different. So I'm not gonna go super into that one, but the last one is Away. And I had really been sleeping on this one. I think a lot of people have slept on this one. It's such a pretty song, and I really wasn't familiar with it until pretty recently, actually, because I had like never really listened past Over the Hills and Far Away on this album. To me, it seems to be about the loss of innocence, which, you know, makes sense because Thomas, you know, likes to write about that. The days were brighter, gardens more blooming, the nights had more hope, in their silence the wild was calling, wishes were whispering, the time was there but without a meaning. Away, away in time, every dream's a journey away. Away to a home, away from care, everywhere is just a journey away. The first verse seems to be talking about like maybe his childhood, like when everything was simple and time was there but without a meaning, like he didn't realize, you know, how short life was, maybe something like that. The days departed, gardens deserted, this frail world my only rest. The wild calls no more, wishes so hollow, the barefoot boy weeping in an empty night. So this is talking about everything in that first verse deteriorating, and now, you know, he always refers to himself as like, you know, the child or the boy, like Dead Boy's poem, weeping in an empty night. Like everything that was all perfect has now deteriorated and there's nothing left. Away goes the chorus again, cherish the moment, tower the skies, don't let the dreamer fade to gray like grass. No falling for life, a gain for every loss, time gathered me but kept me flying, for this gift of dream I must pay the price, with the loss of life's pleasures. So yeah, overall that's what I think it's about. It's just kind of about the loss of innocence that happens inevitably when you grow up. Like when you're a kid, everything seems so magical and full of life, and you're not worried about anything like your time running out or, you know, all your problems. You don't have that yet. So it's like this golden time, and we know that he always thinks of his childhood as like, that's what heaven's gonna be like that was the golden like time in his life. So yeah, I think that's what that's about. It's absolutely beautiful. I love the keyboard part on it. It's so pretty. that is my Wishmaster and Over the Hills discussion. This is gonna be a trip to edit, but thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it as always, and I would love to hear your interpretations and thoughts and favorites and everything. Always love to discuss music more in the comments. Please give this video a like and subscribe if you would like to see more content. We're going on to Central Child next. Yeah, I will see you then. Hope you're having a great day or night whenever you're watching this. Bye.